Well, that is a quote unquote virtual showing, but what they would do is you would go to the house and you would have a camera person and you'd say, I'm going to walk you through this showing. I'm going to walk you through this house. And so they would actually go to the house and just say, look at the granite and look at this. And they would do it, but they do it through like Facebook. They would do it through YouTube. So that way you could show the home, but you didn't have to have any personal contact with them.
And so they were going to outlaw that.
They were going to say no. Well, at first they said you can do virtual showings, but no actual showings. Then they said no virtual showings at all. And now they said, well, you can do showings, but you got to take extra precaution and no open houses, no events over 10 people. So now, in Nashville and the surrounding markets, we've seen about a 40% drop in showings. So the market has slowed. Now for us, thankfully, my team, we haven't seen any slowdown. Like we're still writing contracts. But we are like a lot of people are actually putting hand sanitizer on the doors. So you sanitize before you go in, sanitize when you come out.
Yeah. Now, are you saying you're allowed to have live showings now?
You can now. Yeah.
You can.
But they won't let you have a virtual showing.
You can.
You can do both.
Okay, you can do both.
Before they said nothing. Like we don't want anything, any real estate transactions, none. So you couldn't do a virtual, you couldn't do an in-house. Now you can do both.
Who lobbied against them and said, "Man, that's going to be a problem. Let us do showings after all." Or did they just change
the Real
their
Estate
mind?
Association? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They went in and just said, "Hey, what happens if somebody needs a home? They're moving. They're moving here from in-state and they cannot find a home."
Right.
And then they said, "Okay, fine, you got a point, but you got to be very careful and no open houses." So in us, Nashville, we're still. Usually, the way it's worked historically, even in 2008, we were one of the last cities that went into the recession that actually felt an impact, and we were the first ones out. That was back in 2008.
Interesting.
Because we have such a diverse economy, that's a huge thing. Now we have Amazon here, we have FedEx distribution here, we have tons of businesses moving in constantly. So anytime you have a more diverse economy, not that you won't feel it, but you're more insulated from that. Places like Pennsylvania, they put a lockdown. San Francisco, a lot of places like Manhattan, the whole state of Pennsylvania, as I understand it, is on lockdown. They've dropped 90% in their showing. I'm like, it's virtually stopped, non-existent right now.
Wow. So if showings are dropping 90%, then it's only a time span of 3-4 weeks until closings basically stop.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, closings virtually stop. And the thing about the real estate market is it's such a long cycle. So if you're not able to do anything for a month, well, you're not just going to feel it for a month. It's not like on day 31 you're going to be able to pick it back up and say, "Oh, now we got closings again."
Right.
What that does is what you do today, you see in 90 days. So the impact that it has, at least in real estate, not so much in Nashville, but especially in these more strict cities, is that you're impacting the next 90 to 120 days.
So what are your thoughts and or concerns and how this is going to impact you personally, your team, the Nashville Real Estate? Like, what are your thoughts right now as a high producing agent in Nashville?
Okay. Thankfully, we put ourselves in a position where we could go a few months. We can go a few months and not have to sell anything and would be okay. It would suck and it would hurt, but we would make it. But as a whole, so my team is good, but as a whole, it's going to cause pretty significant. But usually, here's what I think will happen moving forward: the high producing agents that it's the same thing's going to happen now as what happened in 2008. The high producing agents are actually going to probably increase market share, and then the low producing agents a lot of them are going to be weeded out. Because if you're living month to month or week to week, I've been there. I remember early on in my career hanging drywall in houses to make them pass so we could get these things closed.
Oh, right.
Like I've been there. Like
That's dedication.
I've been there, and so thankfully we're not there now. But there's a lot of agents that if they go 3 months without a paycheck, they're gone. They're finding another. They're finding another. So it is definitely going to impact the real estate industry. I do kind of look at it like a bow. You pull it back. When it rebounds, it usually rebounds pretty good. Because let's just say, so it's March, we're going in April. If they don't buy in April, it's not like they're not going to buy. Usually what happens, instead of buying in April, they're going to buy in June or July or August, right? So usually, especially in markets like this, when it bounces back, it will bounce back pretty well.
So
It's just because it's pent up demand.
right, yeah. But now, what if this thing kind of stretches on for another 2 months? Like, I mean, at what point do foreclosures start happening and things like that, or are they not allowing that to happen? Or
So they are going to artificially. So what happens? So I think if this goes on, and this is my opinion. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but they are in a lot of ways telling banks don't foreclose. It's like if this keeps on, they're going to say banks you can't foreclose, right? Like they've already told the utility companies you can't cut off water.
yeah,
right?
I got an email.
So
Yeah.
like pretty much you can't cut off water, you can't cut off electricity,
Yep.
and if the government's going to come in and mandate shutdowns, they're going to say you can't foreclose,
Yep.
right? However, at some point, what I think what's going to impact the real estate industry as much as anything is if you're a cop, so you don't have the same, you're going to have a job no matter what, unless they do major cut downs.
Or unless something just really goes wrong.
Unless it just goes really wrong.
But you're correct. If the worse things get, the more we need Mac.
The more we need Mac. Or same thing with like if you're in the hospital industry, right?
Right.
Like business is booming in hospitals, right? As bad as you hate to say it.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of friends. I had another one this morning I saw on Facebook. She had to shut down her company, right?
Wow.
Like she's like, indefinitely we're shutting down because we can't weather this.
Yeah.
And that's going to if it affects real estate, that's where it's going to affect it. Like now,
More on the commercial side.
well, less
just-
buyers. So
Okay,
I mean,
yeah,
if you're losing your home and you're losing your business and you don't have an income, well, you can't afford a house.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So thankfully we do work with I work with a lot of investors. So, what we try to do is we try to protect ourselves so that if it's in a hot market and we're in a good market, we're selling a lot of real estate. If it gets bad, God forbid, investors will usually, we work with investors too.